Hello. What is going on, everyone in internet land? Another day, another fucking batshit amount of news, chaos, destruction, the end of democracy, all that good stuff. I'm just, glad I survived, so I can see the crumbling of, everything. Yeah, can you guys hear me okay? Why can't I see the chat? Hold on here. Off. Yeah. But yeah, from Vegas. Oh, there. Okay, there it goes. Okay, let me fix that. It's a little too big. Yeah. I guess that's all right. Yeah, Trump. Yeah, Trump is giving. I mean, I can talk about other things though. I mean, I love that Trump is giving us content, but I want the country to stay intact. You know what I mean? I kind of worry about that a little bit more. I can hear you just fine. Okay, good. Yeah, but I mean, this fucking guy, man, he never stops. Like, he literally never stops. Every single day, it's something else. I think he just desperately wants to be the center of attention all the time. So, he just has to do the next crazy thing and, outdo himself. How am I doing? I'm good. I'm like officially 100% recovered. Yesterday I still felt a little like, like kind of how you feel once you're like getting over being sick. But now today I'm like all the way solid gold, good, back to normal. Just in time to watch, democracy crumble and all that. But yeah, we got a few people in here. Let me check Twitch. Make sure the Twitch feed is live. Yeah, looks like we're good. By the way, if you're subscribed to me on YouTube, it'd be awesome if you'd follow me on Twitch too. I'd much rather just like go on Twitch for lives, but I don't really have much of a following over there yet. So yeah. All right. Well, without further ado, which one is it? Oh no, wrong one. All right, let's get into it. So I got the whole tape, but I figure we listen to the let's go over some of the highlights first. Let's check that out and see. Let me get a thumbs up if you guys can hear it okay.
We have won this election in Georgia based on all of this. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, Brad. I mean, having a correct, the people of Georgia are angry. And these numbers.
You guys hear that okay? Thumbs up. Good. Yeah. Are
going to be repeated on Monday night, along with others that we're going to have by that time.
Oh, let's start over.
More substantial even. And we have won.
I just want to say that I already the Republicans are already in damage control over this, and I'm really enjoying the narratives that they're pushing out. We'll go over that in a minute, but I scrolled through Twitter a little bit right before I hopped on here. It was pretty interesting. But let's listen to this highlight here.
On this election in Georgia, based on all of this, and there's nothing wrong with saying that, Brad. I mean, having a correct, the people of Georgia are angry, and these numbers are going to be repeated on Monday night, along with others that we're going to have by that time, which are much more substantial even. And the people.
Hold on 1 second. I gotta. Yeah. I just want to say, like, I'm sure you guys have like, been in a meeting of some kind, or some kind of business thing where you're like a guy's or a person's trying to get you to do something. Like, this whole entire phone call just screams like, that kind of pressure. Like, Brad, people are gonna be mad. You don't want people to be angry, Brad. We need to do something about this. I mean, you could have legal consequences. I feel like I just watched a documentary about the mafia in New York in the 1980s, and they had a bunch of tapes of like mafia bosses, you know, telling people to do stuff, otherwise they'd break their legs. It kind of has that vibe to it. Like, people are saying we need to get stuff done around here, or otherwise, you might have some consequences. Like that screams, basically what Trump is saying here. Hold on, I gotta change the title of my, TikTok live here. Dude. Shit. Okay. There we go. He's not even grasping it. Like, I don't even know. I said this in my video the other day. Like, when I do commentary on what Trump is doing, or what the administration are doing, or just what Republicans are doing, like, I don't even know how to put it into words anymore. Like saying off the rails, or stuff's going, crazy, or we're going down a dark path, or a deep hole. Like, it's all been said. Like, at this point, it's just like, these people are fucking nuts and they need to be put in jail. Bottom line. And we need to stress that. Like, they need to have consequences for their actions. All right, but let's get back to this.
People of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, that you've recalculated.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong.
Shout out to Brad Rathensberger, because imagine, I was talking to my sister earlier, imagine how stressful it would be for this guy to have the President of the United States pressuring you like this on a phone call. Like, I can't imagine the stress this guy's been under from not only Trump, but other people in the Republican Party, to do the right thing. And I'm so glad that he was actually able to push back a lot in this phone call.
Now, do you think it's possible that they shredded ballots in Fulton County? Because that's what the rumor is. And also that Dominion took out machines.
Okay, just one more thing real quick. But you notice how, like, there's, like, so much, like, mind fuck going on here. So many mind games going on. Like, he's throwing out all these suggestions of what he wants him to go with. Like, them voting machines. I heard there was a lot of irregularities. Maybe we got problems with not the machines themselves, but parts inside the machines. Like, he's trying to draw him a roadmap. Like, hey man, we want you to rig the election in our favor, and this is the talking points. He's basically briefing him with the talking points on this phone call.
Dominion is really moving fast to get rid of their machinery. Do you know anything about that? Because that's illegal.
This is Ryan, Germany. No, Dominion has not moved any machinery out of Fulton County. We're having.
But have they moved? Have they moved the inner parts of the machines and replaced them with other parts?
No.
You sure?
Poor Ryan.
I'm sure.
You should want to have an accurate election. And you're a Republican.
We believe that we do have it.
Do you see that shit? Like, come on, you're a Republican. I'm a Republican. You got to do me this favor. It's just... The craziest thing is that, basically everybody that's come out against Trump at this point has already done it. Anybody that's still with him is with him till the bitter end and is never going to go up against him. But how they can hear this phone call and still be like, he's trying to expose the election fraud, or he's playing 4D chess. Like, I don't understand how they can, like, with a straight face anyway, look into a camera and say that, or put it in a tweet, or whatever the channel is. By the way, anybody on TikTok? I'm on streaming on Twitch and YouTube right now.
Election.
If y'all want to come hang out.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have. Not even close. You're off by hundreds of thousands of votes. You know
Hundreds
what
of
they did, and you're not
thousands.
reporting it. That's a criminal offense, and you can't let that happen. That's a big risk.
Now he's telling the Secretary of a State that, hey man, you're committing a crime. Imagine the President of the United States telling you that. Like, are you sure? You sure you got it right? And you might be committing a crime here. Like this is, Trump comes from, he grew up, he was an adult in 70s and 80s New York. Like this is prototypical mob mentality. I feel like I'm listening to a part of Goodfellas or something. Like, are you sure? One more letter from that kid's school comes to that house.
To you and to Ryan.
If you've ever
Your
watched
lawyer,
Goodfellas,
that's
you
a
know what I
big
was
risk.
talking about.
But they are shredding ballots, in my opinion, based on what I've heard, and they are removing machinery, and they're moving it as fast as they can, both of which are criminal fines, and you can't let it happen, and you are letting it happen. I'm notifying you that you're letting it happen.
I mean, what's crazy is I was thinking about this earlier. I basically started like my TikTok and everything like back in July, and I wanted to cover like QAnon and the crazy theories that, kind of spring out of that. Well, it's at this point now, 5 months later, we've gone from the crazy theories being on like the dark ends of the internet, the 4chans, the 8coons, sections of Twitter, what's that 4chan, the Donald/Win, like that's where all the crazy was, and now it's straight up coming from the president. The rate at which we've gone from, like Trump has always been crazy. He's always put out conspiracy theories, but not at this rapid succession. Like this is, it takes about 3 days for it to go from QAnon Twitter accounts to the president of the United States. Like there's no difference anymore. It's all the same, whether it's QAnon or the actual presidential administration. Like the whole conservative sphere is basically the same shit now. Like there's no difference.
So look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
Hey man, all I need you to do is I need you to take away about 12,000 votes. Can you do that? Can you flip 12,000 votes for me? Like just add up what has gone on in this call up until now. Like, what you're doing might be illegal. Like, all I need is 12,000 votes. You don't want to do something illegal, do you, Brad? Do you, Brad? It's just 12,000 votes. Don't do something illegal over 12,000 votes. Like, it's just such fuckery.
So tell me, Brad, what are we going to do? We won the election,
exactly,
and
Sasha.
it's not fair to take it away from
It's
us
funny.
like this.
The progressions. He
And
goes
it's
through
gonna
like
be
every
very
stage of grief.
costly in many ways, and I think you have to say that you're going to re-examine it, and you can re-examine it, but re-examine it with people that want to find answers, not people that don't want to find answers.
Like that fucking line, man. I mean, yeah, you got to re-examine it, but don't get people that don't want answers. Get people that want answers. Like he's literally given him a roadmap on how he wants him to rig the election, and this just happened to be taped. Now imagine he's been having meetings with governors, secretaries of states, congresses of states. He's been doing this same kind of shit every single time. I remember when he first got into office, Comey said all these things about these he wanted loyalty and all these kind of outlandish claims at the time. Like it was unprecedented at the time. Now I fully 100% believe everything Comey ever said about what Trump asked for and oh, I demand loyalty and I want this and I want that. Because that's exactly how he operates. Because every time we get him on tape, like there was other people in the room, he had other staff members on this call. Can you imagine how aggressive he would be if he was all by himself? This guy doesn't know anything besides just straight up corruption. Like that is his whole game. It's a total shakedown. Yeah.
Probably, I'm sure, a great lawyer and everything, but he's making statements about.
Well, at least he's a great lawyer. I see that. Thank you. Thanks for the disco ball.
He did make him with surety, but now I think he's less sure because the answer is they all went to Biden.
I believe he means certainty. I don't know why he keeps saying surety. He really likes that word.
And that alone wins us the election by a lot. So.
Mr. President,
whatever.
You have people that submit information, and we have our people that submit information, and then it comes before the court, and the court then has to make a determination. We have to stand by our numbers. We believe our numbers are right.
You guys on TikTok there. I'm on YouTube and Twitch, streaming, links in bio.
Election results, okay?
Check out.
You're not allowed to do that, and that's what you've done. This is a faulty election result. And honestly, this should go very fast. You should meet tomorrow because you have a big election coming up, and because of what you've done to the president, the people of Georgia know that this was a scam. And because of what you've done to the president, a lot of people aren't going out to vote.
I think it's so funny that I feel like in a way he's trying to sabotage the Georgia elections. I just feel like he does not want, he didn't win, so he doesn't want anybody else to win. He doesn't, because Trump doesn't have an ideology. He doesn't actually give a shit about anything other than Trump. So I just find it so funny that he keeps throwing this kind of stuff in there, but it's actually working because all these people, they're fucking mad at this point with, Trump fever. Basically whatever Daddy Trump says, is what they do. But they are, if you would have asked me day after the November 3rd election, if we were going to win in Georgia, I would have told you definitely no. You might get one seat. You're definitely not getting two. Now at this point, he has fucking thrown so many wrenches into he's gone so just all in, all the chips in the middle with this voter fraud, conspiracy, nut job shit that I think a lot of people are going to stay home. When I go through whatever, Clapper, Twitter, Parler, when I look at all these people talking about all these voter conspiracies and, whatever, I see a lot of people I'm in Georgia right now and I'm not fucking voting. Fuck these guys, and that would just be like the chef's kiss to the end of the Trump presidency, that the reason that we end up actually taking the Senate is because Trump just threw all these just fucking wrenches with the voter fraud conspiracies and made people not come out and vote.
And a lot of Republicans are going to vote negative because they hate what you did to the president.
Vote negative.
Okay? They hate it. And they're going to vote. And if you would be really respected, if this thing could be straightened out before the election. You have a big election coming up on Tuesday.
All right, well, that's the highlights of it. I got the other tape here. I want to kind of listen to a little bit of that, but I figure we'd scroll through some of the hot takes going on in the conservative sphere, because man, they are hot. This is what you know what's funny with the 4D chess that they always claim Trump is playing is that no matter what he does, it's always they can always throw that out there. Well, actually, he's rope-a-doping you. He's playing 4D chess. And it's well, that's why he tried to get the Secretary of State in Georgia to commit a conspiracy for voter fraud because of 4D chess. It's okay, man. But this is Dinesh D'Souza, this gem here. It's a standard deception tactic for the Washington Post to release a few minutes of a 30-minute phone call to create a false impression Trump was urging the Georgia Secretary of State to commit voter fraud. Instead, Trump was urging him to expose the voter fraud committed by the Democrats. Dude, no. I haven't listened to too much of the rest of the phone call, but I don't have to. I already know that it's not what's going on. And then there's what old Timmy Pool had to say.
But I'm going to need the full audio, preferably for both. So what does it?
See, they didn't have any out. They didn't really have anywhere to go once that audio came out, because it's pretty fucking damning. So they all went real quick with the, I need to hear the full audio. I need to hear the full audio, because, the Washington Post, they're not credible at all. I need the full audio. So now that's backfiring on them, because obviously Washington Post released the full audio, and it might make it worse than it was before.
Does it mean that Trump wants to find these votes, and why? Hard to know when the Washington Post hasn't released the full audio. What I've heard of this leak.
Imagine calling yourself a journalist, listening to that audio, and saying, it's hard to know what Trump wants from this. What could he want? However, could we guess?
Phone call. I call into question. I think Trump is absolutely wrong, but I'm going to need the full audio. Preferably for both, I would like to see the raw audio or the raw video. I'd like to hear the full recording, but I think we know what Trump is saying, because they have a 1 hour long phone call, but they didn't release it. Release the full audio. Let's listen to it. In the end.
The full audio is out. We'll listen to that in a second. Exactly, Ron. It's worse. You heard the full audio already? It's not. It's more whining. It's not fair. Yeah, I heard a little bit of it on CNN right before I came live, or went live. I figured I'd save it for I wanted to get my general reaction on stream, so we'll listen to that in a second. I just saw this tweet, and it kind of really sums up the legacy of the GOP. It says, evolution of the GOP. Nixon pardoned for Watergate. Reagan demonizes government's role. Koch network hijacks the Republican Party, which now serves corporate donors and forsakes working class Americans. Trump emboldened and betrays America. Accountability to be determined. Like, damn if that don't hit it on the head. And then AOC, according to this guy, he's a journalist. AOC tells us, I absolutely think it's an impeachable offense, and if it was up to me, there would be articles on the floor quite quickly. That's another excerpt. Oh, and then let's see if I can find the beginning of it. So Jason Miller, he's a Trump loyalist. He's worked on the campaign since the beginning. I'm sure you might have seen him on CNN before, just completely lying his ass off. This is what he had to say. And then he got in a back and forth with Jake Tapper that was just absolutely hilarious. They published a 4-minute and 31-second clip. Where is the other 35 minutes? Raffensperger is a political hack who doesn't care about election integrity, nor does he care about telling the entire story. Release the full tape. And then, I don't know, he put his name. I don't know. What a weirdo. But, so then Jake Tapper claps back with this. He's like, the full call is here, and why I have your attention. Pay your child support. And then Jason Miller decided he wanted to fight him. You're a fake news pussy, Jake. I'd like to see you say that to my face. Like, I don't know. I found that quite hilarious. Yeah, Jason doesn't pay his child support, apparently. And Jake he doesn't pay it enough for Jake Tapper to know about it. Yeah, the mental gymnastics or something else, man. I don't know. It's funny, and I don't know how you guys approach it or think about it. Like, I find humor in this shit. Obviously, that's why, going over it, and it does make for some amusement, but it's really scary when you step back and you look at the whole picture. Like, this is a fucking total clown show, but what it actually is 2/3 of our government right now. As of now, I mean, it won't be in a few days, thank God, but the GOP controls the Senate and the presidency, and has for, the past couple years. Can you imagine how much different this would have been? Like, say the Democrats didn't have the control in the House. Like, Trump might actually be able to steal this thing. If he was just a little more competent and the GOP controlled the House, I could see a scenario where they steal the election. So while it is funny to watch the mental gymnastics and the fucking pretzels that they bend themselves into, and just the hilariously bad shit takes every single day, like it's really bad, because even over the last 4 years, I mean, it's just slowly digressed and digressed and digressed, and we have gotten to where every day is just a fucking dumpster fire. Like, basically every day is just a fucking fire hose of garbage just destroying our country, and we can't actually deal with the problems that we have, the income inequality, the mass evictions, people losing their job, a 9/11's worth of people dying every day, because we got to sift through all the shit. And by the time that's over and we get done with that, it's midnight, and we got to get a couple hours of sleep before we sift through this shit again. It's kind of sad. But at least they do it in, in hilarious fashion. Just for instance, here's Lynn Wood, who, he was mad that he wasn't getting attention for 5 minutes. Since you cannot trust the communist propagandists of the mainstream media to even give you an honest weather forecast, I thought I would provide you with next week's weather forecast map. And then it's a fucking, a hurricane of Trump. Like, this guy's supposed to be a serious person, like a serious lawyer. And this is what he's got. But 3 minutes behind. Matt, you better catch up. Yeah. But so, obviously when we all, listen to that tape, we all kind of wondered, like, is this illegal? This has to be illegal, right? So I looked up some of the election laws, and this is what it says. This is voting in elections. I think this is the federal law. I looked up the state law too, but this is what it said. Criminal penalties. A person, including an election official, who in any election for federal office, 1, knowingly and willfully intimidates, threatens, or coerces, or attempts to intimidate, threaten, or coerce any person for A, registering to vote, voting, or attempting to register to vote, or attempting to register or vote. B, urging or aiding any person to register, vote, to vote, or attempting to register or to vote, or exercising any right under this chapter, blah, blah, blah. Or 2, knowingly and willfully deprives, defrauds, or attempts to deprive or defraud the residents of a state of a fair and impartially conducted election process. And there's a couple more. And this is the penalty, according to the federal law, shall be fined in accordance with Title 18, which fines shall be paid into general fund of the Treasury, miscellaneous, blah, 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 section whatever, whatever, notwithstanding any other law, or imprisoned not more than 5 years, or both. So I feel like he checked several boxes on that. So it's definitely, exactly, definitely threatened. And, it's clearly intimidation, just in the little tidbits we already listened to. We'll listen to some more of it, and from some of the transcripts I've read, it's definitely there. And then this is the state law. Election and primaries generally, or election criminal solicitation to commit the election fraud penalties. A person commits the offense of criminal solicitation to commit election fraud in the first degree when with the intent that another person engage in conduct constituting a felony under this article, he or she solicits, requests, commands, importunes, whatever, or otherwise attempts to cause the other person to engage in such conduct. 2. A person commits the offense of criminal solicitation to commit election fraud in the second degree when, with the intent that another person engage in conduct constituting a misdemeanor under the article, he or she solicits, requests, or otherwise attempts to cause the other person to engage in such conduct. I mean, again, several boxes checked. He's definitely trying to, basically, he's basically, it's conspiracy is basically what it is. Like, he doesn't outright say it, but I don't feel like nobody ever outright says it, like, hey, hello, sir, I would like you to commit a crime today. But, he definitely leads him and intimidates him, and even talks about, when you have the president of the United States telling you that you might be doing something illegal and gives you a specific vote number and even gives you ways in which you can commit this fraud or ways you could overturn the election. I mean, it's basically a criminal conspiracy. At least that's my opinion after reading those laws and listening to that tape. I don't know. All right, but this is the full audio. We'll listen to some of it. I don't know. There's a couple other things I want to go over. The Proud Boys did some dumb shit, and then Tim Pool said some dumb shit about it. So. Hey, what's up, Phoenix? How you doing, man? I didn't see you were in there. I'll make you a mod.
That, right? That's something I think everyone, at least that's a number that everyone agrees on. But that's the difference in the votes. But we've had
come over to YouTube. I need a mod on YouTube. I've been meaning to ask somebody to be my mod.
A pretty accurate number. You don't need much of a number, because the number that, in theory, I lost by the margin would be 11,779. But you also have substantial numbers of people, thousands and thousands, who went to the voting place on November 3rd, were told they couldn't vote. Because a ballot had been put in on their name. And, that's very, 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 very sad. We had, I believe it's about 4,502 voters who voted, but who weren't on the voter registration list. So it's 4,502 who voted. But
again, like, everything that he has said, and it's as far from what I've heard so far, it's just total bullshit. Like, these are QAnon level conspiracy theories that he's just coming straight out with. Like, there is no, you would think if you had all this evidence that he's presenting to the Secretary of State, you think maybe, I don't know, you might want to present that in a court of law, like, at all, or anything, but that hasn't happened, so I think we need to be a little weary of all these claims.
But they were not on the voter registration roll, which they had to be. You had 18,325 vacant address voters. They had the address was vacant, and they're not allowed to be counted. That's 18,325. Smaller number, you had 904 who...
Do you think he just made these up as he went? We got 22,000 over here, and then, 9,000 came from this way.
Post office box number, and that's not allowed. We had at least 18,000 that's on tape. We had them counted very painstakingly. 18,000 voters having to do with, he's a vote scammer, a professional vote scammer and hustler. That is...
Oh, he's saying a lady's name. Yeah, apparently he's trying to pin... I saw a little bit about this on Twitter. Apparently he's trying to say that some lady who volunteered somehow counted 18,000 votes 3 times. And Raffensperger, of course, said, well, that's not possible. But he's going hard with it.
That was the tape that's been shown all over the world that makes everybody look bad. You, me, and everybody else, where they got, number one, they said very clearly, and it's been reported that they said there was a major water main break. Everybody fled the area.
He's still talking about that stupid video where they have the ballots underneath the thing that has been debunked every way possible. Like, he's still bringing up that video. Like, again, this is the president of the United States who is basically using Facebook meme level shit as his evidence that there's voter fraud. This guy has the power of the fucking United States behind him, and he's using Facebook evidence. Just, I don't think we can ever overstate that enough.
Her daughter and a few people. There were no Republican poll watchers. Actually, there were no Democrat poll watchers. I guess they were them. But there were no Democrats either, and there was no law enforcement. Early in the morning, they went to the table with the black robe, the black shield, and they pulled out the votes. Those votes were put there a number of hours before. The table was put there. I think it was, Brad, you would know, it was probably 8 hours or 7 hours before, and then it was stuffed with votes. They weren't in an official voter box. They were in what looked to be suitcases or trunks, suitcases, but they weren't in voter boxes. The minimum number it could be, because we watched it and they watched it certified in slow motion, instant replay, if you can believe it, but had slow motion.
What is this, a fucking challenge in football? They watched it in certified super slow-mo instant replay, and they clearly saw person A pass off 18,000 ballots 3 times, and they were all for Joe Biden.
And it was magnified many times over. And the minimum it was 18,000 ballots, all for Biden.
Here, hold on.
You
Let me.
out-of-state voters.
You guys are gonna stay on TikTok.
They voted in Georgia, but
you
they
can
were
hear
from
it better.
out-of-state of 4,925. You had absentee ballot sent to vacant. They were absentee ballots sent to vacant addresses. They had nothing on them about addresses. That's 2,326. And you had drop boxes, which was very bad. You had drop boxes that were picked up. We have the political people said that there's no way they beat me, and they beat me. They beat me in the poll. As you know.
Is this just like an hour-long rambling of a madman? Like, he's talked for like 5 minutes now. The other guy hasn't said a single thing, and he's just, he's basically just reading QAnon threads. It's like he's just got like his phone in front of him, and he's just reading bookmarked tweets from QAnon accounts. That's exactly where all this comes from. All of this starts on like 4chan and 8kun. And that's what our president is
every single
talking
state.
about.
We won every state. We won every state house in the country.
Everyone? All 50? Jesus.
We held the Senate, which is shocking to people, although we'll see what happens.
Well, we don't know about that yet.
In a few days. And we won the House. But we won every single state house. And we won Congress, which was supposed to lose 15 seats, and they gained, I think, 16 or 17 or something. I think there's now a difference of 5. There was supposed to be a difference substantially more. But politicians in every state, but politicians in Georgia have given affidavits and are going to that there was no way they beat me, and the dead people voted. And I think the number is in the close to 5,000 people. And they went to obituaries, they went to all sorts of methods to come up with an accurate number, and a minimum is close to about 5,000 voters. The bottom line...
Again, where is he getting this from? 5,000 dead people voted? I'm pretty sure Georgia said it was like 2. So that's a pretty big gap. Apparently they had 2 dead people vote, which is the about the usual. You get a couple dead people every year. Sometimes people vote and then die. Yeah, I don't know about 5,000.
Line is when you add it all up, and then you start adding, 300,000 fake ballots. Then the other thing that...
Do you think Rathensberger and the other guy, his lawyer, are just sitting there like staring at each other like, what the fuck do we do, man? He won't stop talking. They like got the speaker on mute. I don't know, man. He keeps saying that dead people voted. What do we do?
They said is in Fulton County and other areas, and this may or may not be true. This just came up this morning, that they are burning their ballots, that they are shredding ballots and removing equipment. They're changing the equipment on the Dominion machines, and then that's not legal. And they supposedly shredded, I think they said 3,000 pounds of ballots, and that just came to us as a report today.
3,000 pounds of ballots.
This is something that's as an example, I think in Detroit, and I think there's a good section of your state actually, which we're not sure, so we're not going to report it yet. But in Detroit, we had 139% of the people voted.
No, that's just not true. Oh my God. 100, how easy would that be to prove? Can you imagine, we can't get 50% of a population to vote. This guy thinks 139% of people fucking voted. How easy would that be to prove? Can you imagine how easy it would be to prove that, hey, 40% more people than actually live here voted in this election? That is a conspiracy from day one. I remember making a couple videos about it a month and a half ago about the Detroit 140%. They just can't math. So they see numbers and they can't put them together, and they're they don't. So they always the GOP cannot math, so they always mix up those numbers. But yeah, that's a total horseshit number.
That's not too good. In Pennsylvania, they had well over 200,000 more votes than they had people voting, and that doesn't play too well.
Yep.
And the legislature
Let's switch
there,
it back the other way,
which is Republican, is extremely activist and angry. But I mean, there were other things also that were almost as bad as that. But they had, as an example, in Michigan, a tremendous number of dead people that voted. I think it was. Mark, it was 18,000. Some unbelievably high number, much higher than yours. You were in the 4,000 to 5,000 category, and that was checked out laboriously by going through the obituary columns in the newspapers. So, I guess
So let me get this straight. You mean to tell me that the federal government, in order to figure out how many dead people voted in Georgia, went through every single ballot, got that day's local newspaper, went through the obituaries, and I was like, oh, yep, no. Tommy Thompson, he definitely died. So, here he is voting. How? I know that's, probably not how they actually did, but that's basically kind of what he's alleging. We got the obituaries and went to work, found all these dead people that voted. The dead people voting thing is always so stupid. It's always like somebody has a name close to it, or, it's like a father-son deal. It's never, ever is there some mass epidemic of dead people voting. This is the crescendo of the horseshit voter fraud narrative that the GOP has been pushing for 20 years. And this is where it's gotten them. They've pushed this bullshit lie for so long that, it was just bound to go off the rails. And now Trump has just taken that ball and fucking ran with it. And this is what we got.
All of it being said, Brad, it's the bottom line. And provisional ballots, again, you'll have to tell me about the provisional ballots, but we have a lot of people that were complaining that they weren't able to vote because they were already voted for. And these are great people. And,
the best people.
Shell-shocked. I don't know if you call that provisional ballots. In some states, we had a lot of provisional ballot situations. Very, there's certain.
Why? You got to give him one thing. He's a long-winded motherfucker. Man, this guy can talk. By the way, while you're here, if you could like the stream, I really, really appreciate it. Yeah. Maybe subscribe if you're not. Follow me on Twitch. That'd be cool.
What I'm hopeful for is there some way
Let's see.
that
Okay,
we
hold
can
on.
jump in, and I'll give Brad a chance to.
Many times the number
I want to see what he has to
of
say.
votes
Like
necessary
as
to win the
pushback.
state. And we won the state, and we won it very substantially and easily, and we have much of this is they're certified, far more certified than we need, but we're getting
What?
additional numbers certified too, and we're getting pictures of drop boxes being delivered and delivered late, and delivered 3 days later in some cases, plus we have many affidavits to that effect.
So, Mr. President, if I might be able to jump in, and I'll give Brad a chance, Mr. Secretary. Obviously there are allegations where we believe that not every vote or fair vote.
I believe that's Kevin McCarthy, or possibly a lawyer. I don't know. Does that sound like Kevin McCarthy? I'm not sure who that is. I thought that was Rathensperger, but that's not Rathensperger.
And legal vote was counted, and that's at odds with the representation from the Secretary.
Like he literally just talked for
office.
12 minutes straight.
What I'm hopeful for is there some way that we can find some kind of an agreement to
Mark Meadows,
to
yeah,
look at this
yeah.
a little bit more fully. The president mentioned Fulton County, but
McCarthy's
in some of these
the
areas where
minority
there seems
leader.
to be a difference of where the facts seem to lead. And so, Mr. Secretary, I was.
These motherfuckers ain't let a fact lead them anywhere in the past 10 years. I don't even know how long. That's honestly underselling it. Let the facts lead you bullshit.
In a spirit of cooperation and compromise, is there's something that we can at least have a discussion to look at some of these allegations to find a path forward that's less litigious?
Well, I've listened to what the president has just said. President Trump, we've had several lawsuits, and we've had to respond in court to the lawsuits and the contentions. We don't agree that you have one. I didn't agree about the 200,000 number that you mentioned, and I could go through that point by point. What we had.
Yeah, that's what he said. 200,000 votes. He thinks he won Georgia by 200,000 votes. That is, I really want to know how you came up with that number. He said 5,000 dead people voted, so there's 5,000. Where's the other 195,000 coming from? Again, 200,000 votes. And I'm glad he pushed back and said, hey, you didn't win. And I hate to be like championing this fucking shill Republican, Brad Rathensperger, who has probably never done anything good for the country before this, besides just not actively helping in a coup. So now he's like, the standard bearer in the Republican Party because he didn't actively destroy the country. But whatever, I guess we got to take what we can get.
Had done is we gave our state senate about 1.5 hours of our time going through the election issue by issue, and then on the state house, the government affairs committee, we gave them about 2.5 hours of our time, going back point by point on all the issues of contention. And then just a few days ago, we met with our U.S. congressman, Republican congressman, and we gave them about 2 hours of our time talking about this past election. Going back, primarily what you've talked about, you're focused in on primarily
super low.
Process. I don't believe that you're really questioning the Dominion machines, because we did a hand retally, a 100% retally of all the ballots, and compared that to what the machine said, and it came up with virtually the same result. And we did the recount, we got virtually the same result. So
again, that's the important part. They have blamed these machines over and over and over again, but as the Republican Secretary of State just mentioned, they did initial hand recount, and then they did another hand recount of that recount and got the same numbers. So minus the machines, they counted all the ballots by hand, no computers, and they got the exact same result. So that is why, he's sticking to his guns, because they have turned this thing inside and out, and it's come up the same way every single time.
I guess we could probably take that off the table. I don't think there's an issue about that. I think what you're...
Well, Brad, not that there's not an issue, but because we have a big issue with Dominion in other states, and perhaps in yours, but...
You might have a big issue, but nobody else does, because there is no issue. You like how you wouldn't even let him slide with that? He's like, well, there's no issue with that. Well, I wouldn't say there's not an issue. Maybe there's an issue. Like, I've dealt with, I don't know, like in my past, like the business I used to own, I've dealt with so many guys, obviously not exactly like Trump because he's one of a fucking kind, but that fucking kind of, fucking just sham grifter kind of guy that's always like, you can't take him at his word and he just constantly lies and twists shit. He's just such a prototypical, like, used car salesman, shoddy businessman. He's cartoon character all the way.
We haven't felt we needed to go there, and just to maybe put a little different spin on what Mark is saying, Mark Meadows. We'd like to go further, but we don't really need to. We have all the votes we need. We won the state. If you took, these are the most minimal numbers, the numbers that I gave you. Those are numbers that are certified, your absentee ballots sent to vacant addresses, your out-of-state voters, 4,925. When you add them up,
4,925.
It's many times the 11,779 number. So we could go through. We have not gone through your Dominion, so we can't give them blessing. I mean, in other states, we think we found tremendous corruption with Dominion machines, but we'll have to see. But we
citation
we
needed.
Only lost the state by that number, 11,000 votes, and 779. So, with that being said, with just what we have, and with just what we have, we're giving you minimal numbers. We're doing the most conservative numbers possible. We're many times above the margin. And so we don't really have to, Mark. I don't think we have to go through machines because what's the difference between winning the election by two votes and winning it by 500,000 votes? I think we probably did win it by 500,000. One of the things that happened, Brad.
Well, I mean, one difference between winning the state by 2 votes or 500,000 votes is 499,998 votes. But hey, tomato, I guess. But what I don't like. So is he saying like, oh, we actually won by this, absurd amount, but we're only gonna present this little baby amount that's all we need to win, that we still have seen no evidence for. Apparently, like 40,000 people from Albuquerque came over and voted or some shit. Who knows?
Brad, is we have other people.
Yeah, it went from 200K to 500K,
and from South Carolina and from other states. And they're saying it's impossible for you to have lost Georgia. We won, in Alabama, we set a record. Got the highest vote ever.
Hey, guys, we won another really conservative state by a lot of votes. So, therefore, we must have won this other state with changing demographics that has been trending blue. One of the things that, like, drives me, like, the craziest about like doing battle with conservatives and people that use conservative and GOP talking points is some of the logic that they come up with, like this anecdotal horse shit, like, oh well, clearly I must have won this state if we won this state by a record number. Or the logic of, well, Obama only got this many votes and he was way more popular than Biden, so there's no way he could have won. Or Trump won twice as many, 3 times as many counties as Biden, so he must have won. There's no way that you can win more counties. Like, all this, like, horse shit kind of thinking and logic and reasoning. Like, I guess on the surface, if you don't look into it, it kind of makes a, like, coherent argument. But if you dive into it at all, it's not even grasping at straws, man. I don't even know what to call it at this point. Like I said, I'm out of words. I don't, like, you can't say it's off the rails anymore, because it was off the rails 6 months ago. I don't know where it's at now.
In Georgia, we set a record with a massive amount of votes.
Not a big enough record.
They say it's not possible to have lost Georgia. And I could tell you by our rallies. I could tell you by the rally I'm having on Monday night. The place, they already have lines of people standing out front.
Like, you literally said it in the comments, and then he said it. Yeah. Oh, how could I have lost? Look at the size of my rallies. Like, I can't possibly have lost an election in a country with 330 million people when I got a rally that had 20,000 people at it. I mean, you know, how can I lose? Like, fucking Jesus, man, really?
Waiting. It's just not possible to have lost Georgia.
It's just not, yeah, not possible,
when I heard
right?
it was close, I said, there's no way. But they dropped a lot of votes in there late at night. You know that, Brett. And that's what we are working on very.
And like and that's why I think, and I know he's gonna keep doing that. Like, that's what makes the longer call even worse than the short little clips, is because he, you know, the entire time he's priming him. Like, you know, look, Brad, we won. Brad, you know we won, okay? You don't want to do anything stupid. It's illegal, Brad. Brad, come on now. You know we won, Brad. Like, he just keeps going and going, like, just kind of ratcheting up the pressure on this guy little by little. Like, Brad, come on, don't do anything stupid. You know we won the state, Brad. Like, what they need to do is they need to go ahead and impeach. Do you have to have 2/3 of the Senate to impeach, or is it just a majority? Because if you impeach, if he gets impeached, he can't run again. I know that. Like, if he gets impeached for this, say, you know, I don't know, if he was to get impeached for this, like, obviously it wouldn't really matter for this time, but next time around he wouldn't be able to run if he was able to get impeached. So it could still be worth it. But I don't know if you need 2/3 of the Senate, it might be, you know, all for naught. But damn, if you only need a majority, it might be worth taking it up.
Very stringently. But regardless of those votes, with all of it being said, we lost by essentially 11,000 votes, and we have many more votes already calculated and certified too. So I just don't know.
Who certified these other votes?
I don't know what's the purpose. I won't give Dominion a pass because.
Like, he's talking to the guy that certifies votes. He must have another fucking Secretary of State. I guess the Secretary of State in Arkansas certified the votes for Georgia or something.
We found too many bad things, but we don't need Dominion or anything else. We have won this election in Georgia based on all of this, and there's nothing wrong with saying that, Brad. You know, I mean, the people of Georgia are angry, and these numbers are going to be repeated on Monday night, along with others that we're going to have by that time, which are much more substantial even. And the people of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry, and there's nothing wrong with.
Yeah, I mean, I know he was impeached. I meant convicted, obviously. Like, he was impeached once. Yeah, he'll always be impeached. But do you have to have 2/3 in the Senate to convict, or is it just 50%? Or just majority? I mean, I'm not sure. Like, yeah, I know he was already impeached, but if he was actually to get impeached and convicted for this, he wouldn't be able to run in 2024, which I don't know if he actually will anyway. But I mean, it'd be good just to it'd be good to actually hold his feet to the fire for this, because this shit is ridiculous. This is absolutely fucking absurd that our president is doing this kind of shit. It's basically shaking down a Secretary of State. Like, that's what this is. Full stop. There's no dancing around it. This is a shakedown, and we don't need to tap dance around that. And that's that's one thing I've noticed about like my commentary, and something I want to change is that there's no more like you can't dance around with these fucking people. We need to hold their feet to the fire because they're destroying the fucking country. Just full stop, 100%. Like when they do shit like this, you know, we can't just laugh it off. We need to call it out and say, you know, and full extent of the law, charge them with fucking whatever it was, whatever law we looked up a minute ago, because this is just absurd, and it can't be taken lightly. It's not something that should be taken lightly.
Saying that, you know,
it's 2/3. Yeah, that's what I thought.
That you've recalculated, because the 2,236 and absentee ballots, I mean, they're all exact numbers that were done by accounting firms, law firms, etc. And even if you cut them in half, and cut them in half again, it's more votes than we need.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong. We
Burn. Sick burn, Brad. Sick burn.
talked to the congressmen, and they were surprised, but they, I guess there was a person named Mr. Raynard that came to these meetings and presented data. And he said that there was dead people, I believe it was upward of 5,000. The actual number were two people that were dead that voted.
See, I knew it was 2. Yeah, I heard that number, I don't know, like a week ago or something. But yeah, so the guy that he presented evidence for, I'm glad that he's actually the Secretary of State in Georgia has to fact check the president. But he said 5,000. The actual number is 2. Two dead people were found to have voted, which makes sense with about the number of fraud that's usually committed in elections.
And so that's wrong. That was 2.
Well, Cleta, how do you respond to that? I mean, you tell me.
Well, I will say, Mr. Secretary, one of the things that we have requested, and what we said was, and if you read our petition, it said that we took the names and birth years, and we had certain information available to us. We have asked from your office for records that only you have. And so we said there's a universe of people who have the same name and same birth year and died, but we don't have the records that you have. And one of the things that we have been suggesting.
Wait, if they don't have the records, then how'd they look it up? Did they actually go through did they? I was just joking when I said that, but did they actually go through the paper's obituary, or the obituaries in the papers? Is that how they did it? If they don't have the records, how'd they come up with the 5,000 number? And how does the federal government not have access to death records in a state? I feel like that would be a pretty easy ask.
Formally and informally for weeks now.
Yeah, 5,000 or 2. What's the difference?
For you to make available to us the records that would be necessary to confirm.
But Cleta, even before you do that, and not even including
that's some
that,
GOP lawyer lady. I don't know who that is.
In one state, we have a tremendous amount of dead people, so I don't know. I'm sure we do in Georgia too.
There's so many dead people. People are saying it's a bigly amount of dead people. They're just bodies everywhere.
I'm sure we do in Georgia too. But is that we're so far ahead. We're so far ahead of these numbers. Even the phony ballots of known scammer. You know the internet? You know what was trending on the internet? Where's because they thought she'd be in jail. Where's it's crazy. It's crazy. That was the minimum number is 18,000, but they think it's probably about 56,000. But the minimum number is 18,000 on the night where she ran back in there when everybody was gone and stuffed. She stuffed the ballot boxes. Let's face it, Brad. I mean, they did it in slow motion.
What would it take for somebody to stuff or to funnel in 56,000 ballots? One person. Can you imagine how much time and effort that would take? what is she, fucking Santa Claus? She's everywhere in the county, in the state in one night. 56,000 ballots. I mean, how would you even possibly have, you couldn't even fill them all out. I don't know how you would, one person, this late, I think it's a lady that he's talking about. They beeped out the name, obviously, but I would love to see how she possibly funneled in 56,000 ballots. I would like to know her strategies. So I want to rig a couple elections up here in Minnesota. There's a couple people I want to get rid of, so.
Replay magnified, right? She stuffed the ballot boxes.
Yeah,
stuffed
totally.
like nobody's ever seen them stuffed before. So there's a term for it when it's a machine instead of a ballot box. But she stuffed the machine. She stuffed the ballot.
She fucking stuffed that machine hard.
They were showing, here's ballot number 1. Here it is a second time, third time, next ballot. I mean, look, Brett, we have a new tape that we're going to release. It's devastating. And by the way, that one event is much more than the 11,000 votes that we're talking about. It's
why would he like, he's like teasing a movie premiere. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, we're gonna release a damning tape. If you actually had evidence and it was actually gonna do anything, why wouldn't you, I don't know, maybe just show it to the guy? You know, the internet exists. I'm sure he could send the link over to him right now and say, hey, Brad, check this out. Look at this clear evidence of voter fraud. Maybe you guys should open an investigation, you know, like a reasonable adult would do. Not be like, Brad, there's clear voter fraud. 56,000 ballots stuffed by one lady. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, Eastern Standard Time, we're going to release the evidence. You know, check out YouTube and Twitter, links below. You know what I mean? Like, why would you go through all this fucking pageantry instead of just giving the guy the evidence? Maybe because it doesn't exist.
That one event was a disaster. It's just, but it was something that it can't be disputed. And again, we have a version that you haven't seen, but it's magnified. It's magnified, and you can see everything. And she put, for some reason, they put it in 3 times each ballot, and I don't know why, but why? I don't know why 3 times. Why not 5 times, right? But yeah.
Oh, we have a truth seeker in chat. Oh, we got an anon. We got an anon in the chat. Everybody, watch out. He's gonna he's gonna devastate us with the truth about all the Biden fraud. Send me a link to a JPEG or whatever you're gonna do.
Go ahead.
You're talking about the State Farm video, and I think it's extremely unfortunate that Rudy Giuliani or his people, they sliced and diced that video and took it out of context. So the next day we brought in WSB TV and we let them see the full run of tape. And what you'll see, the events that transpired are nowhere near what was projected by,
But where were the poll watchers, Brad? There were no poll watchers.
I love, like, this guy, he's just like sitting in a room with his lawyer or whatever on this call, and he's just like, oh my God, the fucking president is trying to get me to commit conspiracy. And, once every 25 minutes or whatever, he's just like, listen, Mr. President, Rudy Giuliani is a very bad lawyer, okay? And he is lying to you so he can get that sweet, sweet cash. There was no fraud. They edited and doctored that video. And just know, sir. But what about the poll watchers?
There were no Democrats or Republicans. There was no security there. It was late in the evening, or early in the morning, and there was nobody else in the room. Where were the poll watchers? And why did they say
I'm going to put that on a shirt. If I put that on a shirt, would you guys wear it? Where are the poll watchers?
They said they left. They ran out because of a water main break, and there was no water main. There was nothing. There was no break. There was no water main break. But if you take out everything, where were the Republican poll watchers? Even where were the Democrat poll watchers? Because there were none. And then you say, Well, they left their station. You know, if you look at the
As if people aren't allowed to, like, you know, go home at a certain time. Like, the poll watchers left. That's why. Their shift was done at 10 o'clock. They had worked all day. They went home. But the actual election officials who have an actual job, they can't just leave because, you know, election and democracy and stuff. So that's why there was no poll watchers there, because their shift was over. There was nobody to replace them. Poll watchers are some shit that hasn't been, you know, really relevant in any election for like the last 40 years. So they continue to do their job, Mr. President. I don't know, maybe like do a couple Google searches.
tape, and this was reviewed by professional police.
Right, yeah,
and
new merch.
detectives
Where
and-
were the
and
poll
other
watchers?
people. When they left in a rush, everybody left in a rush because of the water main, but everybody left in a rush. These people left their
He's really on that
station.
water main.
When they came back, they didn't go to their station. They went
Where'd they
to
go, Mr.
the
President?
apron wrapped around the table, under which were
All right, Chris,
thousands
yeah,
and
easy does it there.
thousands
I'm
of
gonna have to
ballots
ban you. I don't want to have to
in a
ban you.
box that was not an official or a sealed box. And then they took those and they went back to a different station. So if they would have come back, they would have walked to their station and they would have continued to work.
What the fuck is he going on? If they were in the station, they wouldn't have left the station, or they would have walked around, but they would have been watching the polls because the polls were unwatchable without the watchers of the polls. You understand where I'm going with this, Brad?
But they couldn't do even that because that's illegal because they had no Republican poll watchers. And remember, her reputation is devastating. She's known all over the internet, Brett. She's known all over it.
Who's he talking about? Fucking Mia Khalifa? She's known all over the internet, Brad. Brad, she was there. She stuffed the ballots. 56,000. Okay, she's known all over the fucking internet. She's, you know, she's a wild one with an angel face.
I'm telling you, where was one of the hot items on the. They knew her. Where's. So, Brad, you know.
It's like he's cussing her
there
out.
can be no justification for that. And I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. But that was. And Brad, why did they put the votes in 3 times? You know, they put them in 3.
It's like he's like, you know, consult, like, you know, like crying on the shoulder of a good friend, like he's out at a bar and he's just sitting there taking back shots. Like, Brad, why were there no poll watchers though, Brad? Just answer me that. I know I should have won, Brad. I should have won, Brad, because there was no poll watchers, okay? 56,000 votes, Brad. She's known everywhere. Brad, why didn't I win, Brad? Brad, why is Rudy a good lawyer, Brad? Brad.
Times.
Mr. President, they did not put that. We did an audit of that, and we proved conclusively that they were not scanned 3 times.
Okay.
Where was everybody else
All right.
at
I can't
late
take
time
it
in the
anymore.
morning? Where was everybody? Where were the Republicans? Where were the security guards? Where were the people that were there just a little while before when everyone ran out of the room? How come we had no security in the room? Why did they run to the bottom of the table? Why did they run there and just open the skirt and rip out the votes? I mean, Brad.
I had to put Chris in timeout.
I think for 5 hours or something like that, the most. But they just all happened to run back and go, you know, Brad.
Yeah, Mr. President, we'll send.
Brad. Come on, Brad. Brad, what the fuck? Brad, you're fucking me here, Brad. Brad, stop fucking me. Huh. By the way, you guys on TikTok, streaming on Twitch and YouTube, much better experience. Just saying.
Give you the link from WSB that does.
I don't care about a link. I don't need it. I have a much better link.
I will tell you, I've seen the tape. The full
I have a
tape.
much
So
better
has
link. Is that what he
We've watched
said?
it. And what we saw and what we've confirmed in the timing is that they made everybody leave. We have sworn affidavits saying that. And then they began to process ballots. And our estimate is that there were roughly 18,000 ballots. We don't know that. If you know that.
Wait, what?
18,000
Our estimate is 18,000 ballots, but we don't know that. I feel like is it just me, or are they just picking up random numbers? Like, I don't feel like there's any consistencies here. It was like 200,000, then it was 500,000, it was 56,000 ballot stuff, and that's 18,000. I mean, are these just like, like they're just winging it here?
Each one 3 times.
Well, I don't know about that, but
I do, because we had ours magnified out. So each
watched,
one magnified out.
I've watched the entire thing.
But nobody can make a case for that, Brad. Nobody. I mean,
Brad, come on, Brad.
You have to be a child to think anything other than that. Just a child. I mean.
Did he just call? Damn, fucking Brad, you're a child, Brad. You're a literal child. Brad, stop acting like a child, Brad.
You have your never Trump U.S. attorney there.
How many ballots, Mr. Secretary, are you saying that were processed?
Oh, we're getting
Each guy thoroughly investigate that.
We had this is Ryan Germany. We had our law enforcement officers talk to everyone who was there after that event came to light. The GBI was with them, as well as FBI agents.
Well, there's no way they could. Then they're incompetent. They're either dishonest or incompetent. Okay, there's only 2 answers.
So much for back the blue.
It's dishonesty or incompetence. There's just no way. Look, there's no way. And on the other things I said too, there's no way. I mean, there's no.
The scientific fact of there's just no way, Brad. Brad, come on, Brad. There's no way. Like, this is literally frat boy level shit. Brad, there's no way, bro. Brad, there's no way.
No way that these things could have been. You have all these different people that voted, but they don't live in Georgia anymore. What was that number, Clay? That was a pretty good number, too.
Yeah. Well, the number
the
who
bestest number
out of state after they moved from Georgia, and so they had a date when they moved from Georgia. They registered to vote out of state, and then it's like 4,500. I don't have that right in front of me.
And then they came back in and they voted.
And voted. Yeah.
No, that was a large number, though. It was in the 20s. And the point
We've been going through each of those as well, and those numbers that we got, that Ms. Mitchell was just saying, they're not accurate. Everyone we've been through are people that lived in Georgia, moved to a different state, but then moved back to Georgia legitimately. And in many cases,
really, how many people do that? You mean they moved out and then they said, "Ah, the hell with it, I'll move back in." It doesn't sound like a very.
I love how poor fucking Brad here. I love how he's got a methodical, detailed, thought out, logical explanation for every single thing. And as soon as he like pushes back and gives the explanation, he's just like, no, listen, fuckface. Okay, Brad. Okay, Brad. Tell me how many people do that, Brad, huh? How many people do that? A few thousand, and out of a state of millions? Yeah, okay, Brad. Yeah, like people move and then move back. Okay, yeah, go fuck yourself, Brad. This is like, it's just like a conversation with like your kid brother or sister, and you're trying to explain to them like some kind of complex topic, and they're just like, whatever, okay, that's stupid. That's not how things work. Like that's basically what this is.
Very normal. You mean they moved out, and what, they missed it so much that they wanted to move back in? It's crazy.
Well, and they moved back in years ago. This was not like something just before the election. So there's something about that data that it's just not accurate.
Well, I don't know. All I know is that it is certified, and they moved out of Georgia, and they voted. It didn't say they moved back in, Clayton, did it?
No, but I mean, we're looking at the voter registry. Again, if you have additional records, we've been asking for that. But you haven't shared any of that with us. You just keep saying you've been.
So let's just get it clear that the ones alleging all the fraud clearly don't have. I mean, according to them, they don't have all the data for the state. And the guy that does have all the data for the state, whose literal job is to run state elections and things like that, says everything's on the up and up. But the people who don't have access to everything claim there's just massive fraud because I don't know. Fuck you, Brad, I guess.
You know, a lot of it you don't need to be shared. I mean, to be honest, they should share it. They should share it because you want to get to an honest election. I won this election by hundreds of thousands of votes. There's no way I lost Georgia. There's no way. We win by hundreds of thousands of votes. I'm just going by small numbers. When you add them up, they're many times the 11,000. But I won that state by hundreds of thousands of votes.
I mean, if you do add up small numbers many a times, they get to hundreds of thousands, I suppose.
Now, do you think it's possible that they shredded ballots in Fulton County? Because that's what the rumor is. And also that Dominion took out machines. That Dominion is really moving fast to get rid of their machinery. Do you know anything about that?
Machinery.
Because that's illegal.
This is Ryan, Germany. No, Dominion has not moved any machinery out of Fulton County. We're having.
Oh, but have they moved? Have they moved the inner parts of the machines and replaced them with other parts?
Mm.
No.
You sure?
No.
Ryan?
I'm sure, Mr. President.
And what about?
You hear that? Has this happened? No, absolutely not, Mr. President. Are you sure, Ryan? Are you sure? You want to go against me? I'm the president of the United States. Are you sure? Like, God, I'm gonna need to take a fucking shower after listening to this fucking sleazeball.
What about the ballots? The shredding of the ballots. Have they been shredding ballots?
No. The only investigation that we have into that, they have not been shredding any ballots. There was an issue in Cobb County where they were doing normal, office shredding, getting rid of old stuff, and we investigated that. But this is stuff from, past elections.
No, I don't know.
What was that noise?
Pass the smell test stuff because we hear they're shredding thousands and thousands of ballots, and now what they're saying, we're just cleaning up the office. I don't think that plays.
Well, Mr. President, the problem you have with social media, people can say anything.
No, this isn't social media. This is Trump media. It's not social media.
What does that even mean? It's Trump media. What? I read that in the transcript earlier that he said that, but I don't know. I almost didn't believe it was true. Like, how would I don't know. Hold on, we gotta. Oh shit.
No.
You sure, Ryan?
I'm sure, Mr. President.
And what about the ballots? The shredding of the ballots. Have they been shredding ballots?
No. The only investigation that we have into that, they have not been shredding any ballots. There was an issue in Cobb County where they were doing normal, office shredding, getting rid of old stuff, and we investigated that. But this is stuff from, past elections.
No, I don't know.
And that's what
it doesn't pass the smell test stuff because we hear they're shredding thousands and thousands of ballots.
Thousands and thousands.
And now what they're saying, we're just cleaning up the office. I don't think that plays.
Well, Mr. President, the problem you have with social media, people can say anything.
No, this isn't social media. This is Trump media. It's not social media. It's really not. It's not social media. I don't care about social, but I couldn't care less. Social media is big tech. Big tech is on your side. I don't even know why you have a side because you should want to have an accurate election, and you're a Republican.
We believe that we do have an accurate election.
No, I know you don't. No, you don't.
What the fuck? That was quite an exchange. First of all, I don't know what the fuck Trump media is. But just he doesn't let up, man. Like, there's no shame in Trump's game. Like, he is just hammering this guy. Hey, listen, man. Listen, fuckface Brad. The election was rigged. I know I don't have any evidence to support that, but it was rigged. None of what you say passes the smell test. It's all fake. Your cops are incompetent. My people know what's going on. Lady on Twitter told me. Some other lady stuffed the ballot boxes. She's famous online. Now, say I won the election, or I'm gonna fucking come after you with my 100 million Twitter followers, and you'll probably receive a ton of death threats. That's kind of what he's saying, or that is what he's saying. Like, listen, Brad, don't fuck with me, Brad. Yeah.
You don't have, not even close. You're off by hundreds of thousands of votes, and just on the small numbers, you're off on these numbers. And these numbers can't be just. Well, why won't...
Just on the small numbers, you're off on these numbers.
You send this into Cobb County for signature verification, right? You send this into Cobb County, which we didn't want to go into, and you said it would be open to the public, and we could have our... So we had our experts there. They weren't allowed into the room. But we didn't want Cobb County. We wanted Fulton County, and you wouldn't give it to us. Now, why aren't we doing signature, and why can't it be open to the public, and why can't we have professionals do it instead of rank amateurs that will never find anything and don't want to find anything? They don't want to find, they don't want to find anything. Someday you'll tell me the reason why, because I don't understand your reasoning, but someday you'll tell me the reason why. But why don't you want to find?
We chose Cobb County.
Why don't you want to find? What?
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, so why did you do Cobb County? We didn't even we requested Fulton County, not Cobb County.
Well, Mr. President, we did have our election contest.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
We chose Cobb County because that was the only county where there's been any evidence submitted that the signature verification was not properly done.
Well, no, but I told you, but we're not saying that. We are we're the aggrieved party. Fulton County, look, Stacy, in my opinion, Stacy is as dishonest as they come. She has outplayed you at every heart, at everything. She got you to sign a totally unconstitutional agreement, which is a disastrous agreement. You can't check signatures. You can't do it. I can't imagine you're allowed to do harvesting, I guess, in that agreement. That agreement is a disaster for this country. And
he's talking about Stacey Abrams, but I mean, if you know anything about the history of Brian Kemp and elections, Brian Kemp, probably more than any governor in the country, is crooked when it comes to elections. He did just about everything he could to purge voters from the rolls in Georgia in 2018. And it worked pretty damn well. I think he got about 500,000 or 600,000 people purged from the voter rolls in Georgia. He made it so hard to vote that when he went to go vote in 2018, he swiped his card and he got denied. The guy who was running for fucking governor couldn't vote for governor because it was so difficult to vote and you had to have so many things lined up and, you know, whatever. And he's about as crooked as they come. And the fact that even him and the way he ran this election, and still Trump is like, oh, you bunch of chumps. You let these liberals walk all over you. Stacey made a joke out of you because, I don't know, I guess you didn't completely steal the election just blatantly right in front of everybody's eyes. You didn't switch votes in the tally machine, I guess. It's just, man, there's no filter with Trump. He just wants you to go balls out. Like, I don't know, man. Do you got, see, I tend to think that the Russia stuff is kind of overblown and I don't really know, but somebody's got to have something on Trump, or he's just worried about indictments coming down, or just worried about all the money that he owes. Like, it's not just pride at this point, you know what I mean? Like the hoops he is jumping through to try to overturn this election and you know, just basically completely fuck over our process of picking a president. It's just a whole nother level of insane. And I just don't think anybody just on pride alone, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but just on pride alone would go to this stretch. I mean, this phone call is, I don't know, what is it with this guy and terrible phone calls? But I don't know. Somebody's got to have something on him.
But she got you somehow to sign that thing, and
Yeah, exactly, Willie. Like he sounds very like desperate, scared. Like he's trying to come off tough. Like, hey, you know, I was robbed here, but it's just at this point, it's not just this guy's a crook. It's like this guy is desperate, 100%.
She's outsmarted you at every step, and I hate to imagine what's going to happen on Monday or Tuesday, but it's very scary to people. You know, where the ballots flow in out of nowhere, it's very scary to people. That consent decree is a disaster. It's a disaster.
That consent decree is like a nothing burger.
They've never seen anything like it.
It's like basically just an agreement. It's nothing.
It's still illegal in the state of Georgia, and that settlement agreement did not change that.
Well, it's not a settlement agreement. It's a consent decree. It even says consent decree on it, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it's the same thing.
The term consent decree. It doesn't say settlement agreement. It's a consent decree. It's a disaster.
It's a settlement agreement.
What's written on top of it?
Ryan?
I don't have it in front of me, but it was not entered by the court. It's not a court order.
No, it's called, but Ryan, it's called a consent decree.
That's like semantics, like tomato. Like it doesn't really do anything, and it's just like a bargain between the fucking parties.
Is that right on the paper? Is that right?
I don't believe so. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay. Whatever. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. Look, here's the problem. We can go through signature verification, and we'll find hundreds of thousands of signatures if you let us do it. And the only way you can do it, as you know, is to go to the past. But you didn't do that in Cobb County. You just looked at one page compared to another. The only way you can do a signature verification is go from the one that signed it on November, whatever, recently, and compare it to 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 years ago, you know, or even one. And you'll find that you have many different signatures. But in Fulton, where they dumped ballots, you will find that you have many that aren't even signed, and you have many that are forgeries. Okay? You know that. You know that. You have no doubt about that.
Again, guy with all the access to everything, runs the state, is a Republican, says none of this is happening. Guy with apparently not enough access, according to him, says that everything is crooked.
And you will be at 11,779 within minutes, because Fulton County is totally corrupt, and so is she totally corrupt. And they're going around
Who is she?
playing you and laughing at you behind your back, Brad. Whether you know it or not, they're laughing at you.
Now he's trying to shame him.
You've taken a state that's a Republican state, and you've made it almost impossible for a Republican to win because of cheating, because they cheated like nobody's ever cheated before. And I don't care how long it takes me. You know, we're going to have other states coming forward pretty good. But I won't. This is never given. We have some incredible talent. Said they've never seen anything. Now the problem is they need more time for the big numbers, but they are very substantial numbers. And I think you're going to find that they. By the way, a little information. I think you're going to find that they are shredding ballots because they have to get rid of the ballots because the ballots are unsigned. The ballots are corrupt.
Did you hear that? He's gonna like make it his life's mission to, if it takes me the rest of my life, I will be vindicated that I was robbed of this election. Like he's some kind of fucking knight like it's in Lord of the Rings or something. Yeah. Again, I just don't know. I mean, you'd think if he had evidence on this phone call, he would present the evidence. And even when Rathensperger tried to say, hey man, I will send you the link to what I have as far as proof, he said, my link is better. I have a better link than you.
And they're brand new and they don't have seals, and there's a whole thing with the ballots, but the ballots are corrupt, and you're going to find that they are, and which is totally illegal. It's more illegal for you than it is for them, because you know what they did and you're not reporting it. That's a criminal.
sounds like another
that's a criminal
threat.
offense. And you know, you can't let that happen. That's a big risk to you and to Ryan, your lawyer. That's a big risk. But they are shredding ballots, in my opinion, based on.
Like, that's conspiracy, right? Like, that's trying to persuade somebody to change the outcome of election. He's basically, like, in a backhanded way, threatening him with criminal prosecution. Like, saying that no matter what, he's going to uncover this, and you better fix it, Brad. You better make it right. You know, it's illegal. How can you let this happen? They're laughing at you, Brad. Brad, they're laughing at you. You're going to let them laugh at you? You're going to let them fuck me, Brad? Don't let them fuck me, Brad. Brad.
From what I've heard, and they are removing.
At least that's what I got
machinery,
out of it. I don't know.
and they're moving it as fast as they can. Both of which are criminal fines, and you can't let it happen, and you are letting it happen. You know, I mean, I'm notifying you that you're letting it happen. So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state, and flipping the state.
Like it's such a psychological mind fuck. Like, he goes through all that. Like, it's hundreds of thousands of ballots, Brad. They're fucking you over. They're laughing at you. They're doing this. Like, hey, Brad, we only need 11,000 ballots. And I'm pretty sure he knew this was being recorded. I don't know if he knew it was going to be leaked. But, I mean, there's obviously a room full of people there, 6 or 7. Imagine what this guy does when he's one-on-one with somebody in a non-recorded environment. I can't even imagine the pressure he's been putting on people. The Michigan GOP, Pennsylvania, and all these different people that he's been meeting with. Brian Kemp. It's just absurd.
Is a great testament to
anybody
our
that still supports this guy is part of the problem.
It's a testament that they can admit to a mistake, or whatever you want to call it. If it was a mistake, I don't know. A lot of people think it wasn't a mistake. It was much more.
Kara, I think we'd all be dead.
But it's a big problem in Georgia, and it's not a problem that's going away. I mean, it's not a problem that's going away. And we got
President, this is Ryan. We're looking into every one of those things that you mentioned.
Okay,
all
that's
investigators.
good. But if you find them, you got to say it, Ryan. Look, if they're, let me ask you, Ryan, if they're throwing ballots.
I'll tell you what we are seeing.
Go ahead.
What we're seeing is not at all what you're describing. And these are investigators from our office. These are investigators from DBI, and they're looking and they're good, and that's not what they're seeing. And we'll keep looking. We'll keep looking at all these things.
Well, you better check on the ballots, because they are shredding ballots, Brian. I'm just telling you, Ryan. They're shredding ballots, and you should look at that very carefully, because that's so illegal. You may not even believe it because it's so bad, but they're shredding ballots because they think we're going to eventually get there.
This is our president.
It's in my opinion, it's never too late.
Oh, a little echo there.
Little double sound act. So that's the story, folks. Look, we need only 11,000 votes. We have far more than that as it stands now. We'll have more and more. And do you have provisional ballots at all, Brad? Provisional ballots?
Provisional ballots are allowed, by state law.
I just can't, I can't imagine, this is we're so removed from this. Like, we're just used to seeing, this shit show circus on a daily basis. But I can't imagine as, an adult human being, if I had an issue, at this level, you would think, as a professional, you would come prepared. If you were going to make a claim or present a case, you would come with, some evidence, maybe a couple PowerPoints or, some data, some research. Instead, it's just an hour of the president rambling on and on telling the guy who runs the elections in the state, like, nope, no, Brad, you just don't understand. Like, it's not what you think it is. Like, it's way worse. Like, you might not even know. They're shredding ballots. All right, I'm not going to tell you how I know that or give you any proof, but they're shredding ballots. It's so bad, I don't even think you know about it. And I don't even think you want to know. Do you want to go to jail, Brad? Like, I don't, like, it's just so unprofessional. Like, it boggles the mind. Like, this is how you would try to convey your point. And I think, like, imagine if like Trump is smart in some ways, like when it comes to like media manipulation, or, you know, like, basically that's it. Like, you know, branding, media manipulation, how to, like, you know, kind of get the news to do what he wants. Like, he's smart in certain ways like that. But when it comes to, like, trying to pull off these fucking harebrained schemes, he is god awful. Like, imagine if he was actually half-assed smart at pulling off these ridiculously dumb, idiotic schemes. Like, we'd be even worse off than we are now. We'd be in, like, a fascist, authoritarian fucking state. But thankfully, he's just so dumb when it comes to stuff like this that his whole case to be made is like, nuh-uh, Brad, nuh-uh, that's not what happened, Brad, nuh-uh. I mean, basically, that's what it is. Shut up, Brad, you don't know what you're talking about.
Sure, but you have them. I mean, are they counted, or did you just hold them back because they, you know? In other words,
I would love to see a Trump PowerPoint.
How many provisional ballots do you have in the state?
We'll get you that number.
Because most of them are made out to the name Trump, because these are people that were scammed when they came in, and we have thousands of people that have testified or that want to testify. When they came in, they were proudly going to vote on November 3rd.
He can't read.
And they were told, I'm sorry, you've already been voted for. You've already voted. The women, men started screaming, no, I proudly voted till November 3rd. They said, I'm sorry, but you already been voted for, and you have a ballot. And these people are beside themselves. So they went out and they filled in.
Does he have like a Facebook group that he gets all these stories from? No, I saw it personally. My cousin Jim, he went to vote and they were like, no, you can't. But he's like, but I'm a proud patriot. And no, Jim, no, you're not.
A provisional ballot putting the name Trump on it. And what about that batch of military ballots that came in? And even though I won the military by a lot, it was 100% Trump. Do you know? I mean, 100% Biden. Do you know about that? A large group of ballots came in. I think it was to Fulton County, and they just happened to be 100% for Trump, even though for Biden, even though Trump won the military by a lot, you know, a tremendous amount. But these ballots were 100% for Biden, and do you know about that? A very substantial number came in, all for Biden.
Oh. Brad, come on, Brad. Do you know about that?
I know about it, but we were never.
Okay, Toledo, wait. I'm not asking you, Toledo, honestly. I'm asking.
He's such a dick.
Do you know about the military ballots that we have confirmed now? Do you know about the military ballots that came in that were 100%? I mean, 100% for Biden. Do you know about that?
I really didn't plan on listening to this whole thing, but it's just so damn good. Like,
we have when military ballots come in, it's not just military; it's also military and overseas citizens. The military part of that does generally go Republican. The overseas citizen part of it generally goes very Democrat.
No, but this was
exactly,
yeah,
yes.
Okay. But I got like 78% in the military. These ballots were.
He's
all
not fond of women telling him what to
They
do.
didn't tell me overseas. Could be overseas too, but I get votes overseas too, Ryan. You know, in all fairness. No, they came in. A large batch came in, and it was quote 100% for Biden, and that is criminal. You know, that's criminal. Okay, that's another criminal. That's another.
All right, guys, hold down the fort. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Many
I'll be right
criminal
back.
events here. I don't know. Look, Brad, I have to find 12,000 votes, and I have them times a lot, and therefore I won the state. That's before we go to the next step, which is in the process of right now, you know. And I watched you this morning, and you said well, there was no criminality, but I mean, all of this stuff is very dangerous stuff. When you talk about no criminality, I think it's very dangerous for you to say that. I just don't know why you don't want to have the votes counted as they are. Like even you, when you went and did that check, and I was surprised because, I didn't consider the check, and we found a few thousand votes that were against me. I was actually surprised because the way that check was done, all you're doing is recertifying existing votes. And, you were given votes and you just counted them up, and you still found 3,000 that were bad. That was sort of surprising. That came down to 3 or 5, I don't know, a lot, still a lot of votes. But you have to go back to check from past years with respect to signatures. And if you check with Fulton County, you'll have hundreds of thousands because they dumped ballots into Fulton County and the other county next to it. So what are we going to do here, folks? I only need 11,000 votes. Fellas, I need 11,000 votes.
Brad.
Give me a break. We have that
Brad,
in
come on.
spades already.
What'd I miss?
Or we can keep it going, but that's not fair to the voters of Georgia because they're going to see what happened. And they're going to see what happened. I mean, I'll take on anybody you want with regard to
What the fuck?
and her lovely daughter, a very lovely young
Are you talking
lady.
about fighting people now?
I will take on anybody you want, and the minimum there were 18.
Brad, I will mud wrestle anybody in Fulton fucking County, okay? But I won the county, Brad, okay? Get your cousin down here. I'll fucking arm wrestle him. But I won that county, Brad.
1,000 ballots, but they used them 3 times, so that's a lot of votes. And that one event, and they were all to Biden, by the way. That's the other thing we didn't say.
I feel like you've said that like 10 times,
one
but
thing
yeah.
I forgot to say, which was the most important. Do you know that every single ballot she did went to Biden? You know that, right? Do you know that, by the way, Brad?
Did you know every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings? Just saying. Since we're saying
Every
shit's not
single
true.
ballot that she did through the machine at early in the morning went to Biden. Did you know that, Ryan?
That's not accurate, Mr. President.
What is accurate?
Not
The
that.
numbers that we are showing are accurate.
Oh.
About
Brad and
about-
Ryan
about
aged like
early in
20
the
years on
morning,
this
Ryan.
call.
when the woman took when the whole gang took the stuff out of from under the table, right? Do you know that? Do you know who those ballots? Do you know who they were made out to? Do you know who they were voting for?
Oh,
Not specifically.
Did you ever check?
yeah, Ryan, get your shit together.
We did what I described to you earlier.
No. Did you ever check the ballots that were scammed by a known political operative balloteer? Did you ever check who those votes were for?
That's not a thing, right? A balloteer? What is it, like a musketeer, but for like that's not a thing, right? Is that a thing? Maybe I'm stupid, but I feel like that's not a thing. A balloteer?
We've looked into that situation that you described.
Oh, they were 100% for Biden.
Brad.
100%. There wasn't a Trump vote in the whole group. Why don't you want to find this, Ryan? What's wrong with you? I heard your lawyer is very difficult, actually, but I'm sure you're a good lawyer. You have a nice last name. But I'm just curious.
Is Trump hitting on the lawyer now? He's gone full desperate. Like, come on, and you got a nice last name there, buddy. Be a shame if you let it go to waste. By the way, it's just 12,000 votes, guy. Just 12,000 votes.
Why do you keep fighting this thing? It just doesn't make sense. We're way over the 17,779, right? We're way over that number. And just if you took we're over that number by five or six times. When you multiply it out times 3.
What is he multiplying? There's a lot of math going on here.
Biden. And you didn't know that, but now you know it. So tell me, Brad, what are we going to do? We won the election, and it's not fair to take it away from us like this. and it's going to be very costly in many ways. And I think you have to say that you're going to re-examine it, and you can re-examine it, but re-examine it with people that want to find answers, not people that don't want to find answers.
So that's conspiracy, right? Like that's 100% like the laws we just read over here. Like that's what that was, right? I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but I feel like that was pretty conspiracy.
For instance, I'm hearing Ryan, and he's probably, I'm sure, a great lawyer and everything, but he's making statements about those ballots that he doesn't know. But he's making them with such, he did make them with surety, but now I think he's less sure, because the answer is they all went to Biden. And that alone wins us the election by a lot.
That great number of a lot.
Mr. President, you have people that submit information, and we have our people that submit information, and then it comes before the court, and the court then has to make a determination. We have to stand by our numbers. We believe our numbers are right.
Well, why do you say that, though? I don't know. I mean, sure, we can play this game with the courts, but why do you say that? First of all, they don't even assign us a judge. They don't even assign us a judge.
They don't assign you a judge because your case is garbage and has no merit, and they've thrown it out every time. Even the judge in Wisconsin who was like, okay, I'm going to look at your case solely based on the merits. Let me check out what you got here, and let's see if you have a case. Not anything to do with standing or whether we're going to take the case. Let's look at it. And he went through it. He was a Trump-appointed judge, and he said this is basically horse shit, But apparently he doesn't want to hear that. As far as we can tell with his conversation with Brad here. Brad!
But why wouldn't you, hey Brad, why wouldn't you want to check out, and why wouldn't you want to say, hey, if in fact President Trump is right about that, then he wins the state of Georgia, just that one incident alone, without going through hundreds of thousands of
They said
ballots.
They did look into it.
You just say you stick by, I mean, I've been watching you for, you don't care about anything. Your numbers are right.
I've been watching you.
Your numbers aren't right. They're really wrong. And they're really wrong, Brad. And I know this phone call's going nowhere other than...
That's the goddamn first thing he said that was accurate. This poor Brad probably got a million things to do. He's got this guy just an hour of his life. He's just sitting there across from this Ryan guy like, dude, what are we going to do here? Like, the president's trying to get me to commit a conspiracy.
And ultimately, ultimately...
Next time, anytime from now on, some conservative tells you that they're the party of law and order, just play them a snippet of this tape. Any snippet really will do. Just next time they say we're the party of law and order and of, good moral standing, just play them this tape. Be like, yeah, well, here's your guy. And doesn't seem to be the case.
I win, okay? Because
I win.
You guys are so wrong, and you've treated the population of Georgia so badly. Between you and your governor, who was down at 21, he was down 21 points. And like a schmuck, I endorsed him, and he got elected.
Oh,
but,
God.
I will tell you, he's a disaster.
See, and that's the other problem. Trump is so, he's so transactional. He thinks anything, like if he does something for somebody, like endorse them, he thinks immediately you owe him a favor no matter what. He thinks because he endorsed Brian Kemp that he owes him Georgia. Georgia is his because he endorsed the guy that runs the state currently. Like, he's very, like, same thing with the Supreme Court justices. Like, hey, I made you guys Supreme Court justices, so you got to do me a favor. It's that very mob 80s, 70s New York mentality of just this transactional nature. Fuck checks and balances, fuck democracy, screw all that stuff. I did you a favor, so now it's time to pay the piper. Where's my money? Brad, where's my money, Brad?
And he'll never, I can't imagine.
How's there more, there's almost more people on TikTok than there is on YouTube.
I'll tell you that much right now. But But why would you want to find the right answer, Brad, instead of keep saying that the numbers are right? Because those numbers are so wrong. And
Well,
He is getting
Mr.
pissy now. He's getting
Secretary,
real
Mr.
pissy.
President, I mean, one of the things that we have been, Alex talked about this, we talked about it, and I don't know whether the information has been conveyed to your office, but I think what the President's saying, and what we've been trying to do is to say, look, the court is not acting on our petition. They haven't even assigned a judge. But the people of Georgia and the people of America have a right to know the answers. And you have data and records that we don't have access to. And you keep telling us and making public statements that you investigated this and, nothing to see here. But we don't know about that. All we know is what you tell us. What I don't know.
So isn't that how investigations work? So if I have somebody investigate something and they present me with the evidence and say, hey, there's nothing to see here, and I'm not like, well, I haven't personally investigated all of it, so how can I know? It's like, well, that's my job, and I told you as much, and here's the evidence. I'll send you the link. Well, actually, I have a better link, and that's not how it works, because you didn't convince me personally, so therefore it can't be true. Like the whole thing is flawed, because they're trying to say, well, we have all this evidence, but yet you have more access to everything, and you're saying this didn't happen, but we have suspicions things happen, and if only we had as much access to information as you guys do, maybe we would know more, even though, yeah, that's kind of a backwards way of thinking about it.
Understand is why it wouldn't be in everyone's best interest to try to get to the bottom, compare the numbers. If you say, because to try to be able to get to truth, and that because we don't have any way of confirming what you're telling us. You tell us that you've had an investigation of the State Farm Arena. I don't have any report. I've never seen a report of investigation. I don't know what that is. I've been pretty involved in this. I don't know. And that's just one of like 25 categories. And it doesn't even, and as the President said, we haven't even gotten into the Dominion issue. That's not part of our case. It's not part of, we just didn't feel as though we had any way to be able to develop.
No, we do have a way, but I don't want to get into it.
Exactly.
Because we found a way in other states, Slater, excuse me, but we don't need it because we're only down 11,000 votes, so we don't even need it.
Right.
I personally think they're corrupt as hell, but we don't need that because all.
Oh, snap. So wait, he has a way to win, but he doesn't want to use it? He has a trump card per se, but he doesn't want to use it because he's only down 11,000 votes? I don't understand. It's like he's just like, hey man, come on, it's not that big of a deal. It's just 12,000 votes. Like, surely you can fudge that around. Come on, Brad, help me out. Do me a fucking solid here. Like, that's basically what he's saying. Like, dude, it's such a small amount. Like, you can change that. I mean, I won the state. I mean, you guys are Republican, I'm Republican. Of course I won the state. Like, it's like he doesn't look at it like, hey, this is interfering in the democratic process. He's like, look, millions of people voted. It's such a small number. I really should have won the state anyway. We're both in the same party. Just do me a solid, Brad. Quit fucking around and give me the state.
All we have to do, Clay, is find 11,000 plus votes. So we don't need that. I'm not looking to shake up the whole world. We won Georgia easily. We won it by hundreds of thousands of votes. But if you go by basic, simple numbers, we won it easily. So we're not giving Dominion a pass on the record. I will say that.
Right, exactly.
But we just don't, we don't need Dominion because we have so many other votes that we don't need to
Why
prove
is it
any more than
Dominion?
we already have.
Mr. President, Lita, this is Kurt Hilbert, if I might interject here for a moment. Ryan, I would like to suggest that just 4 categories that have already been mentioned by the President that have actually hard numbers of 24,149 votes that were counted illegally. That in and of itself is sufficient to change the results or place the outcome in doubt. We would like to just sit down with your office, and we can do it through purposes of compromise and settlement, just like this phone call, just to deal with that limited category of votes. And if you are able to establish that our numbers are not accurate, then fine. However, we believe that they are accurate. We've had...
So wait, he can just make up random ass numbers? 25,000 votes are, you know, illegal or whatever the hell he just said. And, oh, now, you know, prove us wrong, prove a negative, and, you know, then maybe we'll go along with it. Like, you're the one making the claim. You have to present the evidence. You can't just throw out random numbers and say, all these ballots were wrong, or this was bad, show no proof, and then tell somebody, all right, now prove it. Prove it's wrong. Like, that's not how anything works.
Now 3 to 4 separate experts look at these numbers. These numbers are based upon the USPS.
And certified accountants looked at them.
Ooh,
Correct.
certified.
And this is just based on USPS data and your own Secretary of State data. So that's what we would entreat and ask you to do, to sit down with us in a compromise and settlement, you know, proceeding, and actually go through the registered voter IDs and the registrations. And if you can convince us that that 24,149 is inaccurate, then fine. But we tend to believe that that is, you know, obviously more than 11,779. That's sufficient to change the result entirely in and of itself. So what would you say to that, Mr. Germany?
See what he says.
I'm happy to, I'll get with our lawyers and we'll set that up. That number is not accurate, and I think we can show you, for all the ones we've looked at, why it's not. And so if that would be helpful, I'm happy to get with our lawyers and set that up with you guys.
Well, let me ask you, Kurt.
So he even gave in to the ridiculous demands. And that, you know, like, I firmly believe that these guys want to, want Trump to win. Like, these, you know, there's no deep state conspiracy. Like, Brian Kemp and this guy want nothing more than Trump to be able to win. But I don't think they're willing to just flat out steal the thing, which is what he's asking. I think they would manipulate and do shit like Brian Kemp, you know, purge people, do shady ass shit that's within, you know, within the regular scope of shady shit that we allow. They're not going to do outlandish crazy shit. And that's why, if you notice, every single thing that Trump brings up, which is just, it's Facebook level conspiracy shit. Like, this is all, you know, this is like my comment section on fucking TikTok, basically. You know, with Trump supporters. That's all this is. All these theories. But every single thing that he has come up with, or, you know, thrown out there, they've had like a detailed answer as to why it is wrong and how they can prove it's wrong. And he just immediately hand waves it as they're corrupt schmucks.
Kurt, you think that is an accurate number? That was based on the information given to you by the Secretary of State's Department, right?
That is correct. That information is the minimum, most conservative data based upon the USPS data and the Secretary of State's office data that has been made publicly available. We do not have the internal numbers from the Secretary of State, yet we have asked for it 6 times. I've sent a letter over to Mr. Anulowitz several times requesting this information, and it's been rebuffed every single time. So it stands to reason that if the information is not forthcoming, there's something to hide. That's the problem that we have.
Well, that's not the case. There are things that you guys are entitled to get, and there's things that under law we are not allowed to give out.
Well, you have to. Well, under law, you're not allowed to give faulty election results, okay? You're not allowed to do that, and that's what you've done. This is a faulty election result. And honestly, this should go very fast. You should meet tomorrow, because you have a big election coming up, and because of what you've done to the president, you know, the people of Georgia know that this was a scam. And
why does he got to talk about himself in the third person? Like, the president is very upset with what you have done. Sir, you're the president, sir.
Because of what you've done to the president, a lot of people aren't going out to vote. And a lot of Republicans are going to vote negative because they hate what you did to the president. Okay? They hate it. And they're going to vote. And if you would be respected, really respected, if this thing could be straightened out before the election. You have a big election coming up on Tuesday. And therefore,
True.
I think that it really is important that you meet.
By the way, the night of the Georgia runoff, me and 3 or 4 other TikTokers are going to be on my live stream covering their election results. So we're going to be, we'll have it on screen. We'll have, we'll look in live as the results come in. It should be a pretty awesome time. So yeah, that's going to be Tuesday night, probably around 9. We'll probably start around 9. Should be pretty awesome.
Tomorrow and work out on these numbers, because I know, Brad, that if you think we're right, I think you're going to.
Also, while I got you guys here, I put in my Discord, by the link in the description of this video, by the way, or if you're on TikTok, link is in my bio. On my Discord, I put a room where you can put videos that you want me to react to on stream. And I'm really trying to build my Discord up because I really like the format the way it is. So yeah, go over to my Discord, and then yeah, you can put in videos and stuff, suggestions for stuff you want me to go over on stream or stuff I should react to. So yeah, Discord in description. Check it out.
To say, and I'm not looking to blame anybody. I'm just saying that under new counts and under new views of the election results, we won the election. It's all, it's very simple. We won the election. As the governor of major states and the surrounding states said.
Hold on, let me see if I can. You're having a buffering issue on. Yeah, hold on. See if I can. Close out some of this shit. Yeah, I seen it was dropping frames. I'm not sure why. Hold on, give me 1 second here. But I can't change any of that shit. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's buffering so damn bad. I just seen it was doing that on YouTube. But I'd have to log out to change any settings. All right, well.
There is no way you lost Georgia. As the Georgia politicians say, there is no way you lost Georgia. Nobody, everyone knows I won it by hundreds of thousands of votes. But I'll tell you, it's going to have a big impact on Tuesday if you guys don't get this thing straightened out fast.
Well, Mr. President, this is Mark. Let me just, it sounds like we've got 2 different sides agreeing that we can look at those areas, and I assume that we can do that within the next 24 to 48 hours to go ahead and get that reconciled so that we can look at the 2 claims and making sure that we get the access to the Secretary of State's data to either validate or invalidate the claims that have been made. Is that correct?
So that's not what I said. I'm happy to sit down with, or have our lawyers sit down with Kurt and the lawyers on that side and explain to him, hey, here's, based on what we've looked at so far, here's how we know this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And
so what you're saying, Ryan, hold on, let me make sure. So what you're saying is you really don't want to give access to the data. You just want to make another case on why the lawsuit is wrong?
I don't think we can give access to data that's protected by law. But we can sit down with them and say, hey,
you're allowed to have a phony election? You're allowed to have a phony election.
God damn.
No, sir.
When are you going to do the signature counts on when are you going to do signature verification on Fulton County? Which you said you were going to do, and now all of a sudden you're not doing it. When are you doing that?
We are going to do that. We've announced.
To get to this issue of the personal information and privacy issue, is it possible that the Secretary of State could deputize the lawyers for the president so that we could access that information, that private information, without you having any kind of violation?
Well, I don't want to know who it is. You guys can do it very confidentially. You can sign a confidentiality agreement. That's okay. I don't need to know names.
All right,
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm having some lag issues on YouTube. I can't really change any settings while I'm on it, but it's almost over. We're in the home stretch, so we'll just go ahead and run it out. But yeah, I'm not sure why I'm having a little bit of lag on YouTube.
But we got the information on this stuff that we're talking about.
It's like my internet either works super awesome or like I don't know. It's kind of spotty sometimes.
So let me recommend Ryan, if you and Kurt will get together, when we get off of this phone call, if you could get together and work out a plan to address some of what we've got with your attorneys, where we can actually look at the data.
It's crazy that even though despite all these outlandish claims, he called him a child, he called him a sucker, a schmuck, and tried to get him to commit conspiracy, all this stuff. And that's why you know that Brad Raffensperger is the one that leaked this, because I mean, I think he kind of had to, or he could have been like implicated in this whole fuck up if it ever got leaked. I'm sure he's the one that leaked it to get it out, like, hey, I wanted nothing to do with this. But even though he did all that shit to him in this phone call, he was still very measured and took it down and just tried to explain to him why he's just batshit crazy.
For example, Mr. Secretary, I can tell you, you said there was only 2 dead people that would vote. I can promise you there are more than that, and that may be what your investigation shows, but I can promise you there are more than that. But at the same time, I think it's important that we go ahead and move expeditiously to try to do this and resolve it as quickly as we possibly can. And if that's the good next step, hopefully we can finish this phone call and go ahead and agree that the 2 of you will get together immediately.
Well, why don't my lawyers show you where you got the information? It'll show the Secretary of State, and you don't even have to look at any names. We don't want names. We don't care. But we got that information from you. And Stacey Abrams is laughing about, she's going around saying these guys are dumber than a rock. What she's done to this party is unbelievable, I tell you. And I only ran against her once, and that was with a guy named Brian Kemp, and I beat her. And if I didn't run, Brian wouldn't have had even a shot, either in the general.
Yeah, it's on my end. I looked down on Twitch too. I was gonna tell you guys to go over to Twitch, but it's doing the same thing. I don't know why. I closed all the windows except for this one, but I don't know. I don't know why it's having lag issues. But like, it's only been doing it like the last few minutes, but yeah, I don't know why exactly it started doing that. I mean, everything's fine on my end.
He never thought he had a shot at either one of them.
But yeah, sometimes the internet just gets a little fuckered.
That's the way it is.
144p.
For the attorneys, I'd like you to perhaps meet with Ryan, ideally tomorrow, because I think we should come to a resolution of this before the election. Otherwise, you're gonna have people just not.
Then why wouldn't you send the evidence? You want them to come to a conclusion. Why don't you make the one making all these claims? I've never seen a situation where I make a bunch of claims about something and then you have to figure it out. Like, hey, you murdered a guy. I don't have any evidence of it, but you need to go ahead and investigate it. So yeah, you might want to get on that. Like, where's your proof of any of this? These are the guys that handled the election. 3 recounts, cased every single thing, turned the state upside down, did everything they possibly could. Georgia has a lot of laws when it comes to election signature certification, all that jazz. And you lost. I know it was only by a little teensy bit, but 12,000 votes is 12,000 votes, man. You lost.
Voting. They don't want to vote. They hate the state. They hate the governor. And they hate the Secretary of State. I will tell you that right now. And the only people that like you are people that will never vote for you. You know that, Brad, right? They like you, you know. They
What
like
does
you.
that
They
even
can't believe
mean?
what they found. They want more people like you. So look, can you get together tomorrow? And Brad, we just want the truth. It's simple.
Yeah,
And,
that's what. That's.
And
Is that what you guys got out of this phone call? That he wants the truth? I mean, that's definitely not what I got out of it. In fact, I'm pretty sure he wants whatever the truth is. He wants the exact opposite of it. That's what I got out of this phone call.
everyone's going to look very good if the truth comes out. It's okay. It takes a little while, but let the truth come out.
Yeah, just a little bit.
The real truth is I won by 400,000 votes at least. That's the real truth. But we don't need 400,000 votes. We need less than 2,000 votes. And are you guys able to meet tomorrow, Ryan?
I'll get with Chris, the lawyer who's representing us.
That's a hell no. Oh, you just got here, but well, it'll be up after as soon as I'm done here. I'll have it uploaded so you can watch it. But what was my opinion of the call? It's batshit crazy. That's what my opinion is.
Ryan will be in touch with the other attorney on this call, Mr.
You know,
Bennett.
Ryan gulped when he heard that. Are you available tomorrow?
Okay, thank you, Brad. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
God.
Bye.
Wow, what a fucking nightmare that was. Honestly, I was going to talk about some other shit, but I mean, fuck, that was already 2 hours. We'll save it for tomorrow night. I'll stream again tomorrow night. But so I don't know. Thoughts? Anybody got any thoughts about that? Jesus Christ, man. So yeah. So I don't know if you were there when I looked at the laws. I mean, that was clearly, he's trying to get the Secretary of State in Georgia to enter into a conspiracy. I mean, he did everything but say it. He did everything but say, listen here, motherfucker. You need to help me out with this election here, okay? Here's what you need to tell him. It was the Dominion voting machines. Here's the amount of votes I need, okay? You know, he literally, he gave him a roadmap on how to do it. And that's exactly what he did, you know. But thankfully, the guy didn't go along with it. Yeah, he did. He did record Graham. If you're Brad Raffensperger, I mean, why wouldn't you record it? Imagine, what do you do with that if he didn't record it? I mean, I'm sure now, tomorrow, or I guess today was tomorrow then. But I'm sure he didn't have that meeting with Brad now that call got leaked. Or not Brad, but Ryan, the lawyer guy. It just, it's working good now. Yeah, I closed some windows and stuff, switched a few things around. But, yeah, I mean, and I think we have a tendency to, like, it's Trump, you know what I mean? So we're so used to him doing outlandish shit that it just kind of rolls off our back and we're just like, oh, well, whatever. Like, we don't need to do that with this. This needs to be prosecuted to the highest level. If we can impeach him, we need to impeach him and convict him and everything. And we need to make, the biggest of deals out of this. One thing, like Republicans or Democrats are terrible, or just the left in general, is we're not good at beating down issues. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. No matter what Trump does, he seems to kind of wiggle out of it because we're not good at driving home the point. Somehow, Republicans are still getting play off of Benghazi. Like, Benghazi's still a talking point 10 years after the fact. But we can't even make a conspiracy to commit to overturn an election. And I mean, if we can't make that stick, I don't know. Devin Nunes is getting the Medal of Freedom? What? Really? That guy? I mean, didn't he give the Medal of Freedom to Rush Limbaugh? So does it even have any meaning anymore? All right, let me pull this a little. There. Oh, shit. Jim Jordan is too? What, like, what has Jim Jordan done to, deserve the Medal of Freedom? Besides, not look out for his kids in the wrestling team. You know, he basically let all the kids on his Ohio State wrestling team get molested. So, yeah, I don't know if that guy should be getting the Medal of Freedom. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm 100% sure that I don't agree with Brad Raffensperger on any single thing, and I'm sure there is several ways he tried to, you know, tip the scales in Trump's favor before the election. You know, things like voter roll purges, you know, taking, you know, like that's the kind of stuff that him and whatever the guy, Brian Kemp, that's the kind of stuff they're going to do. They're going to take voting machines out of urban areas. They're going to purge people from the voter rolls if they didn't vote in the last election. They'll do shady shit like that to try and, you know, swing the election in their favor. But what they're not going to do is just completely outright steal it, which that's what Trump is doing. Trump's like, listen here, Brad, fuckface Brad, I need 12,000 votes, okay? I don't care if you tell them it's the Dominion machines. I don't care if you tell them it's that, or I don't care if it's the lady who's all over the internet, apparently. Whatever you gotta do, you gotta get me 12,000 votes. And that's basically what he was telling him in that phone call. And now that the entire call has been released, I'm really curious to see what the talking points are from the GOP. In fact, fuck it, let's see if we can. We got a second here. Let's go on Twitter real quick. See if see what we can see for many of the. But yeah, I mean, it's just. I mean, after that, oh, here, I know. I'll go election integrity. Arizona Republican Party. Trump sounded really good. Strong, clear voice, no static on that recording. He cares about hashtag election integrity, as all Americans do. Thank you, Mr. President. Wow. Well, that's what the Arizona Republican Party. I'm not gonna search around. Fuck that. But yeah. So give it a day, or the night maybe, and I'm really curious to see what the talking points are from the right about that phone call. Because it's indefensible. I don't know. I mean, I know they're gonna come up with a defense, but I don't know what it could be. I don't know, maybe ideas in the chat. That Twitter link needs to be played for chat. All right, hold on. Pull it up here. Ideas in the chat. Oh my god. Oh shit. Yeah. No shit, huh? Trump suing Secretary of State Raffensperger over recorded call. GARNC chairman says. Wow. So for anybody on TikTok, let let me switch you guys over here. Or you could just come over to YouTube. But here, let me. Much better streaming experience on the YouTubes. Link in bio. So, Trump suing Secretary of State Raffensperger over recorded phone call. RNC Chair David Schaefer said the call was tied to a confidential settlement discussion regarding litigation. A recorded 1-hour discussion between President Donald Trump, and Secretary Raffensperger will now be heading to the courts, according to Georgia's Republican Party chairman. Hours after the Washington Post broke a story of the call where Trump is heard pressuring the state election head to recalculate the votes, Republican Party Chair David Schaefer said the president plans to sue. President @Real Donald Trump has filed 2 lawsuits, federal and state, against Georgia Secretary of State Schaefer. Tweeted the telephone conference call. Secretary recorded a confidential settlement discussing the litigation, which is still pending. Schaefer, earlier in the afternoon, called the recording mind-boggling and suggested that it was done by Raffensperger and his lawyers. I don't know. Wouldn't he have to prove? Oh, god damn it, I didn't switch the thing. Oh, yeah, I did. Okay. Never mind. Wouldn't he have to prove that it was him in order to sue him? I mean, I guess, I don't know, it'd have to be one of them, huh? Yeah, I don't know if Trump is playing chess, but yeah. He thinks he's playing chess. 4-dimensional chess. It's not just any chess, it's 4-dimensional chess. That's what he's playing. But yeah, okay, well, so I mean, you almost knew that was gonna happen, right? Trump was gonna sue him. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So anyway. Linwood has been on fire recently. I mean, that makes sense. I don't know. Oh no, I did. God damn it. Whatever. I don't know if you guys read that or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. It looks like I'm dropping frames again, but damn, 2.5 hours already. But all right, yeah. So anyway, a little bit content update tomorrow night, because basically everything I wanted to talk about on stream tonight got set aside because you know, Trump phone call. So I'll be streaming again tomorrow night. Links to all my stuff are in the description. Make sure you guys join my Discord, because yeah, I want to, build a community over there. You can put stuff in there that you want me to react to, or stories that you want me to cover. Yeah, I kind of want to make that like my hub, my central location for my community is my Discord. Because it's the easiest way to kind of go through stuff. There's a room over there if you want something that you want me to react to on stream. It's in there. And then on the night of the runoff, Tuesday, me and like 3 or 4 other TikTokers are gonna be covering the GA runoff, the Senate runoff. We'll probably start around like 9:30 because I want to be live when the results come in. I don't know if we'll get all the results the night of, but hopefully we'll get quite a bit and we'll have a good idea of whether we're going to win or not. But, yeah. So make sure you like the stream on the way out. Be streaming again tomorrow night. And, yeah, that was fun. Thanks a lot for coming and hanging out. And, yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Peace out. Subscribe if you're not subscribed.